The night my boyfriend's family finally saw the truth, everyone was sitting around his mother's perfect dinner table. The candles were lit. The plates were shining. His father was smiling proudly. His mother was serving food like this was going to be a peaceful family evening. And my boyfriend, Caleb, was sitting across from me, holding another woman's hand under the table. He thought I could not see it, but I saw everything. Her name was Sophia. He had introduced her months earlier as a business partner. But that night, she was wearing the bracelet I had paid for without knowing it. She was smiling at his mother like she already belonged in the family. Then Caleb stood up and said, "Mia has been unstable lately. She has been jealous, controlling, and making things difficult for me." His mother looked at me with pity. His father looked disappointed. Sophia looked down, pretending to be innocent. And Caleb looked at me like he had already won. He thought I would cry. He thought I would shout. He thought his family would believe him. But I did not scream. I did not beg. I simply opened my purse, placed a white envelope on the table, and said, "Before you believe him, you should know whose money paid for Sophia's bracelet." The whole room went silent, and for the first time in 3 years, Caleb looked afraid. Before I tell you what happened next, subscribe to the channel for more calm revenge and betrayal stories where the truth does not scream, but it always arrives. My name is Mia Foster, and this is the story of how my boyfriend betrayed me, lied about me to his entire family, and then watched them all see who he really was. When I first met Caleb, I truly believed he was different. We met at a small coffee shop on a rainy afternoon. I was reading alone near the window when he asked if he could sit at the empty chair across from me. He smiled and said, "I promise I'm not here to disturb you. I just need somewhere to escape the rain." He was charming, but not in a loud way. He was gentle, warm, easy to talk to. We spoke for almost 2 hours that day. He told me he was trying to build his own marketing agency. He said he wanted to make his parents proud, help his younger sister Lily with her student loans, and one day buy a house where everyone he loved could gather. I believed him. Maybe because he sounded so sincere. Maybe because I was lonely. My mother had passed away when I was 22. My father lived far away and had his own life. I had friends, but I did not have that warm family feeling people talk about. So when Caleb invited me to meet his parents, I was nervous but excited. His family home was beautiful. Not huge, but warm. His mother, Evelyn, hugged me the moment she saw me. His father, Thomas, shook my hand and said, "Any girl who got Caleb to arrive on time must be special." His sister, Lily, laughed and said, "Don't let him fool you. He owns one leather notebook and thinks he's a genius." I laughed so hard that Caleb blushed. That night, I felt like I had stepped into the kind of family I always wanted. Sunday dinners became normal. I helped Evelyn in the kitchen. I went shopping with Lily. I listened to Thomas tell old stories about Caleb as a child. And Caleb would look at me from across the room like I was the most important person in his life. After 8 months, he told me he loved me. He said, "Mia, with you, my life finally feels steady." I held on to those words for a long time, even when things started to change. The first time Caleb asked me for money, he looked ashamed. He came to my apartment late at night and said one of his clients had delayed payment. His rent was due. His agency account was low. He said he hated asking, but he had no one else. "It's just temporary," he said. "I'll pay you back in 2 weeks." It was $2,000. For me, that was not a small amount. I worked at a library. I lived carefully. I saved slowly, but Caleb held my hands and said, "I just need someone to believe in me." So I gave it to him. He paid some of it back, late, but he paid it. That made the next time easier. Then came $500 for software, $800 for a business license issue, $1,200 for car repairs, $3,000 for an urgent client project. Every time he said it was for his future, and every time he added, "our future." That was how he made me feel guilty for hesitating. At the same time, he became more distant. He canceled dinner plans. He stopped replying for hours. He kept his phone face down. When I asked questions, he sighed like I was attacking him. Mia, you're stressing me out. I'm just asking where you were. Exactly. You don't trust me. Slowly, he trained me to apologize for noticing things. Then Sophia appeared. He said she was a business partner. She was polished, beautiful, confident, and always a little too close to him. The first time I met her, she smiled and said, "I've heard so much about you." But her eyes did not look kind. They looked curious, like Caleb had already told her a story about me. Later that day, Lily pulled me aside. "Are you okay with Sophia?" she asked. I forced a smile. Why wouldn't I be? Lily looked toward the patio, where Sophia was laughing at something Caleb said. "Because she looks at him like she's waiting for you to leave." I laughed it off. But inside, something cracked. Caleb did not turn his family against me all at once. He did it slowly. At Sunday dinner, if I was quiet, he said, "Mia has been emotional lately." If I could not come because of work, he said, "She's pulling away from the family." If I asked when he would repay me, he told his mother, "Mia has been really intense about money." He made me sound jealous, controlling, difficult. One evening, Lily came to the library where I worked. She found me between the shelves and said, "Mia, is my brother being honest with you?" I froze. "What do you mean?" She looked nervous. "He told Mom you've been jealous of Sophia. He told Dad you were pressuring him into marriage, and he told me you wanted a part of his agency because you helped him financially." My stomach dropped. "I never asked for a part of his agency," I whispered. "I only asked when he planned to repay the money." Lily's face changed. "How much money?" I looked around to make sure no one was close. "Over $14,000. Her eyes widened. "He told us it was 2 or 3. That was the moment I realized Caleb was not just lying to me. He was building a version of me that would protect him when the truth came out. Lily touched my arm and said, "Start saving everything. Texts, receipts, bank records, anything." That advice saved me. Because 2 weeks later, I found the proof. The proof came from an old tablet. Caleb had left it at my apartment months earlier. We had once used it for a shared folder called Future. In that folder, we saved apartment ideas, furniture photos, and budgets for a life we talked about building together. One Saturday morning, the tablet lit up. The notification said, "Your bracelet order is ready for pickup." For one foolish second, I thought maybe he had bought something for me. Then I opened it. The bracelet was not for me. The note said, "For Sophia. Anniversary dinner surprise." My hands went cold. Caleb's parents were having an anniversary dinner the next week. He had told me it was family only. But Sophia was going to be there. And apparently, Caleb had bought her a gift. Then I checked more files. I found restaurant receipts from nights he said he was working late. I found a hotel booking from a weekend he said he was helping his father. I found a proposal budget. Proposal. For Sophia. Then I found the worst thing. A draft message Caleb had written to his parents. It said, "Mom and Dad, I need you to understand Mia has been unstable. She is jealous, controlling, and I don't feel safe being honest with her alone." I stared at the words. He was not just planning to leave me. He was planning to make me look crazy first. And then I found one message to Sophia that made everything clear. "Mia will cry, but my family already knows she's unstable. Once they see it, they'll understand why I had to choose you." That was the sentence that changed me. I stopped crying. I forwarded everything to myself. Then I called Lily. When she came over, we sat at my kitchen table for hours. I showed her the receipts, the messages, the transfers, the bracelet order, the proposal plan. Lily cried. Then she got angry. "He was going to use the anniversary dinner to humiliate you," she said. I nodded. "He wanted me to react." "Then don't react the way he expects," she said. I looked at the papers. "I want them to see the truth." Lily nodded slowly. "Then we make sure they see it." On the night of the anniversary dinner, I almost did not go. I sat on my bed in a navy dress, staring at the white envelope in my hands. Inside were the documents, bank transfers, messages, receipts, the bracelet order, the proposal plan, the draft where he called me unstable. My hands were shaking. Calm revenge does not feel calm inside. It feels like walking into a storm while trying not to break. When I arrived at the Hart House, Lily opened the door and hugged me tightly. "You okay?" she whispered. "No." "Good," she said. "That means you're human." Inside, everything looked perfect. Evelyn had set the table with her best plates. Thomas was pouring drinks. Family photos filled the hallway. Then Sophia arrived. She wore a green dress and carried a bottle of wine. Caleb walked in behind her. He did not touch her in front of everyone, but he did not need to. Their body language told the story. Evelyn looked surprised, but Caleb smiled and said, "Sophia helped with a client project today, so I invited her." I saw Lily's jaw tighten. Dinner began normally. There were toasts, laughter, stories. For a few minutes, it almost felt like the old days. Then Caleb stood up. "I want to say something," he began. The room became quiet. He looked at his parents with soft eyes. "Mom, Dad, your marriage taught me that love should bring peace. And lately, I've had to accept that my relationship with Mia has not been peaceful." Everyone turned toward me. I stayed still. Caleb continued. "Mia has been struggling. She's been jealous, controlling, and accusing me of things that aren't true. I care about her, but I can't keep living like this." Evelyn looked heartbroken. Thomas frowned. Sophia lowered her eyes. Caleb looked at me like a man pretending to be sorry. "I never wanted to hurt you, Mia," he said. That was his mistake. Because he did not know I was done being protected by silence. I reached into my purse and placed the white envelope on the table. Caleb's face changed. "Mia," he said quietly. "Don't." I looked at Evelyn. "Before you believe him, you should know whose money paid for Sophia's bracelet." The room froze. I opened the envelope and pulled out the bracelet receipt. I placed it in front of Evelyn. Her hands shook as she picked it up. "What bracelet?" she asked. Sophia looked confused. Caleb stood quickly. "This is private." Thomas's voice turned cold. "Sit down." Caleb sat. I pulled out the bank transfers next. "He borrowed more than $14,000 from me," I said. "He told me it was for rent, business problems, software, car repairs, and client work." Thomas looked at Caleb. "Is that true?" Caleb rubbed his forehead. "I was going to pay her back." Lily spoke from beside her mother. "That's not an answer." Then I placed the restaurant receipts, hotel booking, and proposal plan on the table. Sophia slowly stood. "Proposal plan?" she whispered. Caleb turned to her. "Soph, please." Her face went pale. "You told me you and Mia were already over." Evelyn covered her mouth. I looked at Sophia, and for the first time I saw she had been lied to as well. Not the same way I had been, but still lied to. Then I placed the final paper on the table. The message. "Mia will cry, but my family already knows she's unstable." Evelyn read it. Her face broke. "Caleb," she whispered. "You wrote this?" He said nothing. Thomas took the paper from her and read it. His jaw tightened. Lily stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "You told all of us little lies about Mia. You made us doubt her before she even had a chance to speak." Caleb's mask fell. He turned to me. "You really brought all this to my parents' anniversary dinner?" I looked at him calmly. "No. You brought Sophia. You brought the lie. I brought the truth." The room went silent. Sophia grabbed her purse. "I'm done," she said. Caleb reached for her, but she stepped back. "No, you lied to me too." Then she looked at me. "I'm sorry," she said softly. And she left. Caleb turned to his mother. Mom, please. You know me. Evelyn looked at him with tears on her face. I thought I did. Then Thomas stood. You need to leave. Caleb stared at him. What? Thomas repeated. Leave. You used this family dinner to hurt someone who trusted you. Caleb looked around the table, waiting for someone to defend him. No one did. For the first time, his family saw him without the story he had written, and he hated it. Before he left, he looked at me and said, I hope you're proud. I shook my head. I'm not proud, Caleb. I'm free. He walked out. The door closed hard behind him. 8. After the lie fell apart. For a while, no one spoke. Then Evelyn stood, walked around the table, and hugged me. I am so sorry, she whispered. I should have asked you. I should have seen it. That hug broke me more than Caleb leaving, because for months, I had stood inside that family while they slowly believed his version of me. And now, finally, someone saw the real one. Thomas placed a hand on my shoulder. You handled yourself with more grace than we deserved, he said. Lily hugged me next. I'm sorry, she whispered, for all of it. That night, Caleb lost more than me. He lost the protection of people who loved him without questions. The next morning, he sent me messages. You ruined my family. You went too far. Please call me. Then finally, I'm sorry. I stared at those words for a long time, but they felt too small. Not because apologies are worthless, because his apology came after exposure, not honesty. I did not reply. Instead, I made a list of every dollar he owed me and sent it to Thomas, who helped make sure Caleb signed a repayment agreement. Sophia messaged me too. She said Caleb had told her we had broken up months ago. She said she should have asked more. She apologized. I did not become her friend, but I did thank her for telling me, because Caleb had lied in every direction. That is what people like him do. They do not just betray one person. They create different stories for every room. 2 months later, Caleb waited outside the library where I worked. When I saw him standing near my car, my chest tightened. Not because I wanted him back, because my body remembered a time when seeing him made me happy. He looked tired. Mia, he said, can I have 5 minutes? I should have walked away, but I stood there. 5. He looked down. I'm sorry. I said nothing. I know I hurt you. I know I lied. I know I made you look unstable because I didn't want to look guilty. For the first time, he was not defending himself. That almost hurt more. Because this version of him should have existed before he destroyed everything. He continued, I told myself you were controlling, but the truth is, you knew me too well. Sophia only knew the version I gave her. I looked at him. That's why you chose her. He nodded. I think so. There was a long silence. Then he said, I still love you. I shook my head gently. No, Caleb. You miss being loved by me. His face changed, because he knew it was true. I opened my car door. He asked, Can you forgive me? I looked at him for a moment. Maybe one day, but forgiveness will not mean access. Then I got in my car and drove away. I cried on the way home. Not because I wanted to go back. Because even when someone betrays you, saying goodbye to who you thought they were still hurts. People think revenge feels sweet. Sometimes it does for a moment. When Caleb's family read the proof, when Sophia left, when his father told him to go, there was a moment when I felt the lie finally lose its power. But mostly, I felt relief. Relief that I was not crazy. Relief that I had trusted my own eyes. Relief that the truth finally had witnesses. Caleb did not just betray me. He tried to rewrite me. He tried to turn my pain into drama, my questions into jealousy, and my kindness into weakness. But the truth does not disappear just because someone speaks louder than you. Sometimes it waits quietly in an envelope, Sometimes it waits in bank records, messages, and small details. And sometimes it waits until the person who lied the most feels safe enough to lie in front of everyone. That was the night everything changed. Not because I destroyed Caleb, but because I stopped letting him destroy me. So if you are listening to this, and someone is making you feel guilty for noticing the truth, remember this. You do not have to scream to be strong. You do not have to beg people to believe you. And you do not have to stay silent just because someone else is comfortable with the lie. Caleb betrayed me. Then his family saw the truth.
But the most important part is this. I saw it too. And once I saw it clearly, I never went back. If this story stayed with you, subscribe for more emotional revenge and betrayal stories where quiet people finally get heard, lies finally lose their power, and the truth arrives right on time.